The warning. The day the aliens came was just like any other on New Terra. The sun rose over the gleaming towers of Capital City, painting the sky in shades of purple and orange. Workers hurried to their jobs. Children laughed on their way to school, and the busy hum of everyday life filled the air. No one knew that everything was about to change. It started with a strange buzz in the air. People looked up from their morning coffees, frowning at the odd feeling. Then came a deep rumble that shook windows and set off car alarms. High above the city, the clouds parted. A massive ship, bigger than anything humans had ever built, slowly descended from the sky. Its surface gleamed like polished metal, covered in strange symbols that seemed to shift and change as people watched. Panic spread quickly. Some people ran for cover, while others stood frozen in awe. The city's defense forces scrambled into action, but their small ships looked like toys next to the alien vessel. As the giant ship hovered over the city center, a beam of bright light shot down from its underside. In the middle of the main square, 3 tall, slender figures appeared. They had blue skin that shimmered like the ocean, 4 arms each, and large, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. The aliens raised their upper arms, palms out, in what seemed to be a peaceful gesture. Then, to everyone's surprise, they spoke in perfect English. "People of Earth colonies," the middle alien said, its voice echoing across the suddenly silent city. "We come with an important message from the Galactic Empire." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Galactic Empire. No one had ever heard of such a thing. "For centuries, we have watched your kind spread across the stars," the alien continued. "We have observed your progress with great interest. But now we must deliver a warning." The alien paused, its large eyes scanning the crowd. "Stay away from Earth. This is not a request. It is an order." Gasps and shouts of confusion filled the air. Earth, their homeworld. The planet they had left behind generations ago, when it became too crowded and polluted to support them. Why would these aliens care about Earth? "But Earth is our home," someone in the crowd shouted. "You can't tell us to stay away." The alien's expression didn't change, but its voice grew colder. "Earth is forbidden. Any attempt to return will be met with force. This is for your own protection." More shouts erupted from the crowd. People demanded explanations, threatened the aliens, or simply expressed their disbelief. The aliens, however, remained calm. "We understand your confusion," the alien said, "but this matter is not open for discussion. The warning has been delivered. Heed it, or face the consequences." With that, the beam of light reappeared. In a flash, the aliens vanished, leaving behind a stunned and frightened crowd. As the massive ship rose back into the sky, chaos erupted in the city. People ran in all directions, shouting and crying. Emergency sirens blared as the government tried to regain control of the situation. In the days that followed, similar scenes played out on every human colony world. The same message, the same warning, delivered everywhere humans had settled. On New Terra, the government struggled to calm the population. They held press conferences, issued statements, and tried to reassure people that everything would be okay. But the truth was, they were just as confused and scared as everyone else. In her office high above Capital City, Governor Maria Chen stared out the window, lost in thought. She had been born on New Terra. Like most of the planet's inhabitants, Earth was just a distant memory, a place their ancestors had left behind. But now, "Governor?" Her assistant's voice snapped her back to reality. "The Emergency Council is ready for you." Maria nodded, straightening her jacket. "Thank you, Tom. I'll be right there." As she walked to the meeting room, Maria's mind raced. What could be so important about Earth that an alien empire would warn them away? And more importantly, what were they going to do about it? The council chamber was packed when she arrived. Representatives from every major city on New Terra sat around the large table, their faces grim. Screens on the walls showed similar scenes from other colony worlds. "Ladies and gentlemen," Maria began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We face an unprecedented situation. An alien power has contacted us, warning us away from our ancestral home. We need to decide how to respond." For hours, they debated. Some wanted to ignore the warning and send ships to Earth immediately. Others argued for caution, fearing the aliens' superior technology. Still others suggested trying to negotiate with the Galactic Empire to understand why Earth was off-limits. As the arguments went back and forth, Maria found her thoughts drifting to her grandmother. The old woman used to tell stories about Earth, its blue oceans, green forests, and bustling cities. How could they just accept never seeing it again? Finally, as the meeting stretched into the night, Maria made a decision. She stood up, silencing the room with a raised hand. "We can't simply accept this," she said firmly. "Earth is our heritage, our history. We have a right to know why it's being kept from us." She looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes. "I propose we send a small, secret mission to Earth, not to start a fight, but to find out the truth. Who's with me?" The room was quiet for a moment. Then, slowly, people began to nod. It was risky, but they all felt the same pull towards the planet of their origins. As the council hammered out the details of the secret mission, Maria felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to defy an alien empire to uncover the mystery of Earth. Whatever happened next would change the course of human history forever. Outside, the first stars began to appear in the night sky. Somewhere out there was Earth, wrapped in mystery and danger. And soon, they would uncover its secrets, no matter the cost. The investigation. 2 weeks after the alien warning, a small group met in an underground bunker beneath Capital City. They were the team Governor Chen had chosen for the secret mission to Earth. Each person was an expert in their field, picked for their skills and their ability to keep a secret. Dr. Ava Wong, the team leader, looked around the room. There was Jack Torres, the best pilot in the colony fleet. Next to him sat Dr. Malik Nasser, a brilliant xenobiologist. In the corner, Lai Mai Chen, no relation to the governor, worked on a computer. She was their tech expert. Finally, there was Captain Sarah O'Brien, head of security. "All right, team," Ava said, her voice quiet but firm. "We have a big job ahead of us. We need to find out everything we can about Earth, and why the aliens don't want us to go there." Jack raised his hand. "But how? We can't exactly Google, 'Why are aliens hiding Earth from us?'" The others chuckled, but Ava nodded seriously. "You're right, Jack. That's why we're starting from scratch. Lai Mai, what have you found in the old databases?" Lai Mai pushed her glasses up her nose. "Not much, I'm afraid. Most of our records about Earth are centuries old. They talk about overpopulation, pollution, climate change. All the reasons our ancestors left, but nothing that explains why aliens would care about it now." Malik spoke up next. "I've been studying the few images we have of the aliens. Their biology is fascinating, but it doesn't give us any clues about their interest in Earth." Ava frowned. This was going to be harder than she thought. "Okay, let's think outside the box. Sarah, any ideas from a security standpoint?" The captain leaned forward, her face serious. "Well, if I wanted to keep something secret, it would be because it was valuable. Or dangerous. Maybe both." The room fell silent, as everyone considered this. What could be on Earth that was so valuable or dangerous that an entire alien empire wanted to keep humans away? Suddenly, Lai Mi gasped. "I think I found something." Everyone crowded around her computer. "I was digging through some really old files, and I found this." On the screen was an article from just before the first colony ships left Earth. The headline read, "Strange signals from Earth's core baffle scientists." According to this, Lai Mei explained, scientists detected weird energy readings coming from deep inside the Earth. They couldn't explain it. And then, nothing. No more articles, no follow-up studies. It's like the whole thing was forgotten when people started leaving. Ava felt a chill run down her spine. Or maybe it was covered up, she said quietly. For the next few days, the team worked around the clock. They dug through old records, analyzed data, and came up with theories. Some seemed promising, others were just wild guesses. One evening, as they were all feeling tired and frustrated, Jack spoke up. "You know, my grandma used to tell me stories about Earth. Real crazy stuff, like cities hidden under the ocean and people with special powers." Malik rolled his eyes. "Jack, those are just fairy tales." But Ava looked thoughtful. "Maybe, and maybe not. Lai Mei, can you search for any unusual events or phenomena reported on Earth in the years before we left?" Lai Mei nodded and got to work. Hours passed as she sifted through countless old news reports and social media posts. Just as everyone was about to call it a night, she let out a yell. "Look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. It showed an old video, grainy and shaky. In it, a person seemed to be moving objects without touching them. "It's probably fake," Sarah said, but she didn't sound convinced. "There are hundreds of videos like this," Lai Mei said excitedly, "all from the last few years before the Exodus." And then, just like the weird signals, they stop. The team stayed up all night, poring over Lai Mei's discoveries. There were reports of people healing instantly from injuries, of strange lights in the sky, different from the usual UFO sightings, and of plants growing at impossible speeds. "It's like," Malik hesitated, as if afraid to say it out loud. "It's like Earth was changing. Or maybe the people on it were changing." Ava nodded slowly. "And maybe that's what the aliens are afraid of. But we need proof." The next morning, bleary-eyed but determined, they presented their findings to Governor Chen. She listened silently, her face growing more serious with each word. When they finished, she stood up and walked to the window. For a long moment, she said nothing, just stared out at the city below. Finally, she turned back to them. "Do you know what this means?" she asked quietly. "If you're right, if humans on Earth were evolving or gaining new abilities, it changes everything we thought we knew about ourselves." Ava stepped forward. "Governor, we need to go to Earth. We need to see for ourselves what's happening." Governor Chen nodded slowly. "I agree. But it won't be easy. We'll need to avoid both the alien patrols and our own people who might try to stop us." She looked each team member in the eye. "This mission is voluntary. What you've uncovered is just a theory. Going to Earth will be incredibly dangerous. If you want to back out, now's the time." The room was silent for a moment. Then Jack grinned. "Are you kidding? Missed the chance to see Earth and possibly discover superpowers? I'm in." One by one, the others nodded their agreement. Governor Chen smiled, but her eyes were worried. "All right then," she said. "You have 1 month to prepare. We'll disguise your ship as a routine patrol. But once you leave our space, you'll be on your own." As the team left to start their preparations, Ava felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to embark on the most important journey in human history. Whatever they found on Earth would change everything. But one question kept nagging at her. If humans on Earth had developed strange new abilities, were they still human at all? The dangerous journey. The day of departure arrived faster than anyone expected. In a hidden hangar beneath Capital City, Dr. Ava Wong and her team made final checks on their ship, the Curiosity. Jack Torres, the pilot, patted the ship's hull. "She's not much to look at, but she'll get us there," he said with a grin. Ava nodded, trying to hide her nerves. The Curiosity was small and old, disguised to look like a routine patrol vessel. It was their best chance of slipping past both human and alien defenses. Dr. Malik Nasser loaded the last of his scientific equipment. "I still can't believe we're doing this," he muttered. Lui Mei-chen, surrounded by computers and gadgets, looked up, having second thoughts. "Malik." He shook his head. "No, it's finally hitting me. We're going to Earth." Captain Sarah O'Brien did one last weapons check. Let's hope we don't need these, she said grimly. Governor Chen arrived to see them off. Her face was serious as she addressed the team. Remember, once you leave our space, you're on your own. If you're caught, we'll deny all knowledge of your mission. The team nodded. They all knew the risks. But the governor continued, a small smile appearing. If you succeed, you'll be heroes. Good luck, and come back safely. With final handshakes and hugs, the team boarded the Curiosity. Jack started the engines, and with a quiet hum, the ship lifted off. As they rose through the atmosphere, the team was quiet, each lost in their own thoughts. For most of them, this was their first time leaving New Terra. Once they were in space, Jack turned to Ava. Course laid in for the Sol system. Ready to jump. Ava took a deep breath and nodded. Do it. The stars outside blurred, and with a flash, they were in hyperspace. The first few days of the journey were uneventful. The team kept busy with their tasks, Jack monitoring their course, Lai Mai scanning for any signals, Malik preparing his experiments, and Sarah keeping an eye out for any potential threats. On the fourth day, alarms blared through the ship. Dropping out of hyperspace, Jack yelled. The star blur faded, revealing normal space, and a massive alien ship right in front of them. Evasive maneuvers, Sarah shouted. Jack's hands flew over the controls, and the Curiosity dove and spun. The alien ship, caught by surprise, took a moment to react. That moment was all Jack needed. He fired up the engines to maximum and shot past the larger vessel. They're turning to pursue, Lai Mei reported, her eyes on the scanners. Ava gripped her seat. Jack, can you lose them? The pilot's face was tight with concentration. I can try. Hold on to something. What followed was the most terrifying roller coaster ride of their lives. Jack weaved the Curiosity through an asteroid field, skimmed the atmosphere of a gas giant, and at one point, flew so close to a star that the ship's hull creaked in protest. Finally, after what felt like hours, Lai Mei announced, I think we lost them. No signs of pursuit. Everyone let out a collective breath. Jack slumped in his seat, exhausted but grinning. Told you this old girl had some tricks. Ava patted his shoulder. Great flying, Jack, but we're not out of danger yet. Lai Mei, where are we? The tech expert consulted her instruments. Oh no. What is it? Malik asked, worried. Lai Mei looked up, her face pale. We're deep in Galactic Empire territory. A heavy silence fell over the ship. They were now in the heart of enemy space, far from their planned route. Sarah was the first to speak. We need to find a place to hide, make repairs. That chase took a lot out of the ship. Ava nodded. Lai Mei, scan for any habitable planets nearby, preferably uninhabited. As Lai Mei worked, Malik approached Ava. I've been thinking, he said quietly. That alien ship, it wasn't looking for us specifically. It seemed as surprised as we were. Ava frowned. You're right. So what was it doing out here? Before Malik could answer, Lai Mei called out. Found something. Small planet, about half a day's journey from here. Breathable atmosphere, no signs of intelligent life. Good work, Ava said. Jack, set a course. We'll land, make repairs, and figure out our next move. As they approached the planet, tension grew. What if it was a trap? What if the alien ship had called for reinforcements? The Curiosity broke through the planet's atmosphere, clouds parting to reveal a landscape of purple, vegetation, and silver lakes. Jack found a clearing and brought the ship down for a gentle landing. For a moment, no one moved. Then Sarah stood up. I'll do a perimeter check. Malik, want to test the air. As the two prepared to step outside, Ava stopped them. Be careful. We don't know what's out there. Malik nodded, his face a mix of fear and excitement. That's why we came, isn't it? To discover the unknown. With that, he opened the airlock. As the door slid open, They got their first breath of alien air. It smelled strange, like cinnamon and ozone. Sarah stepped out first, weapon ready. Malik followed with his testing equipment. The rest of the team watched anxiously from the ship's windows. Suddenly, Malik froze. "Ava," he called, his voice shaking. "You need to see this." Ava hurried outside. At first, she didn't see anything unusual. Then Malik pointed to a nearby rock. On its surface was a carving, crude but unmistakable. It showed a circle with lines radiating from it. It's a sun," Ava whispered. Malik nodded. "A human symbol. Ava, someone from Earth has been here." As the implications sank in, the team realized their journey had taken an unexpected turn. They weren't just on a mission to Earth anymore. They were on the trail of a mystery that could change everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the galaxy. With renewed determination, they began to explore the alien world, each step taking them closer to answers, and to dangers they couldn't even imagine. The astonishing discovery. The purple sun of the alien world was setting when Dr. Ava Wong called her team together. They had spent 3 days exploring the strange planet, fixing their ship, and trying to make sense of the human symbol they had found. "All right, team," Ava said, her face serious in the dim light of the Curiosity's main cabin. "We need to decide our next move. We're in Empire space. Our ship is fixed, but we're no closer to Earth." Jack Torres, the pilot, spoke up first. "I say we keep going. We've come too far to turn back now." Lai Mei Chen nodded in agreement. "Plus, we found that human symbol. There might be more clues out there." Dr. Malik Nasser looked nervous. "But what if we run into more Empire ships? We barely escaped last time." Captain Sarah O'Brien patted her weapon. "We'll be ready this time. I've upgraded our shields with some of the alien tech we found here." Ava considered their words. It was risky, but they had a mission. "Okay," she decided. "We continue to Earth, but we'll be extra careful. Jack, plot a course that avoids major space lanes." As they prepared to leave the planet, Malik made one last sweep with his scanners. Suddenly, he gasped. "Wait, I'm picking up something. It's like the signal we detected from Earth's core, but fainter." Excitement rippled through the team. This could be the clue they needed. "Can you trace it?" Ava asked. Malik nodded, his fingers flying over the controls. "It's coming from—" "Oh, this can't be right." "What is it?" Sarah demanded. Malik looked up, his eyes wide. "It's coming from Earth's direction." The team exchanged shocked glances. Could this be why the Empire wanted to keep humans away from Earth? With renewed determination, they boarded the Curiosity and took off. Jack guided the ship expertly through the star-studded darkness, following Malik's directions towards the mysterious signal. Days passed in tense silence. Every moment, they expected to be discovered, but somehow, they slipped through the Empire's defenses. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Jack announced, "We're approaching the Sol system." Everyone rushed to the windows. There in the distance, they saw a familiar yellow sun. Tears filled Ava's eyes. They were the first humans to see their home star in generations. As they drew closer, however, their joy turned to confusion. "That's odd," Jack muttered. "I'm not picking up any of the old satellites or space junk. Earth's orbit should be full of that stuff." Lai Mai frowned at her screens. "And I'm not detecting any radio signals. If there are humans on Earth, they're being very quiet." Ava felt a chill run down her spine. "Take us in closer, Jack, carefully." As they approached Earth, they all gasped. The blue planet they had expected was there, but it was different. Strange structures floated in orbit, too angular to be natural, too organic to be normal space stations. Are those alive? Malik wondered aloud, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. Before anyone could answer, the ship's alarms blared. Multiple contacts. Sarah shouted. "Big ones, coming in fast." Jack's hands flew over the controls. Evasive maneuvers. The Curiosity dove and spun, narrowly avoiding massive tentacles that seemed to grow out of the orbital structures. It was like the entire space around Earth was alive and aware. The signal. Malik yelled over the chaos. It's coming from the planet's surface. It's much stronger now. Ava made a split-second decision. Jack, can you get us down there? The pilot gritted his teeth. I can try. Hold on to something. What followed was the most terrifying descent of their lives. The Curiosity shook and groaned as Jack guided it through Earth's atmosphere. Outside, they caught glimpses of a landscape both familiar and alien. Blue oceans and green continents, but dotted with massive structures that pulsed with otherworldly light. With a bone-jarring thud, they landed in what looked like a forest. But the trees were like nothing they had ever seen, with glowing leaves and bark that seemed to shift and move. For a long moment, everyone sat in stunned silence. Then Sarah checked her instruments. Air's breathable, she announced. Gravity's close to what we're used to. Ava took a deep breath. Okay, we need to find the source of that signal. But be careful. We don't know what's out there. They stepped out of the ship, weapons ready, scientific instruments beeping. The forest around them hummed with strange energy. Flowers turned to follow their movements, and the ground seemed to ripple under their feet. As they walked, the signal grew stronger. They pushed through glowing foliage and stepped over streams that flowed uphill. Finally, they emerged into a clearing. In the center stood a massive structure, like a cross between a tree and a skyscraper. It pulsed with the same energy they had detected. Look, Limai pointed. At the base of the structure was an opening, and next to it, a symbol, the same sun design they had found on the alien planet. Ava stepped forward. We've come this far, she said. Let's find out what's inside. As they approached the entrance, the air grew thick with energy. The opening seemed to beckon them, promising answers to all their questions. Just as they reached the threshold, a voice boomed around them. It spoke in no language they knew, yet somehow they understood every word. Welcome home, children of Earth, it said. We have been waiting for you. The team froze, their minds reeling. Home. Waiting? What did it mean? Slowly, a figure emerged from the structure. It was humanoid, but not quite human. Its skin shimmered with the same energy that filled the air, and its eyes held the wisdom of eons. You have questions, the being said. Come. It is time you learned the truth about your species, about Earth, and about your place in the galaxy. As they followed the being into the structure, Ava realized that their mission had become something far greater than they had ever imagined. They were about to uncover the truth not just about Earth, but about the very nature of humanity itself. The answers they sought were just steps away. But were they ready for what they would learn? The confrontation. Ava Wong and her team followed the shimmering being into the massive structure. The inside was even stranger than the outside. Walls that pulsed with light, floors that seemed to shift under their feet, and ceilings that opened up to impossible vistas of stars and galaxies. I am Zar-El, the being said as they walked. I am what you might call a guardian of Earth. Malik couldn't contain his curiosity. What happened to Earth? Where are all the humans? Zar-El's expression was hard to read. The humans of Earth evolved. What you see around you is their creation. The team exchanged shocked glances. Limai spoke up, but the Galactic Empire told us to stay away. Why? Before Zar-El could answer, alarms blared throughout the structure. The being's face turned grim. It seems we have company. The Empire has found us. Sarah readied her weapon. We'll help you fight them off. But Zar-El shook its head. No, it's time you understood the full truth. Follow me. They rushed deeper into the structure, emerging into a vast chamber. In the center was a swirling vortex of energy. This, Zar-El explained, is the heart of Earth. It's what gave humans their potential for evolution, and it's what the Empire fears. Suddenly, the chamber shook. Sounds of battle echoed from outside. Jack looked nervous. What do we do now? Zar-El turned to Ava. You must make a choice. Stay and learn the truth, or flee and live in ignorance. Ava looked at her team. They nodded, determination in their eyes. We stay, she said firmly. Just then, the chamber doors burst open. A group of aliens in sleek armor stormed in, led by a tall figure with piercing red eyes. Step away from the humans, Zar-El, the leader commanded. Your experiment ends now. Zar-El stood protectively in front of the team. They have a right to know. Santor, you can't keep the truth from them forever. Santor's eyes narrowed. The truth? You mean the danger they pose to the entire galaxy? Ava stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. What danger? We're just trying to understand our history. Santor looked at her, a mix of fear and pity in his eyes. Your history is a threat to every living being in the universe. Malik couldn't stay silent. That's impossible. We're just humans. Just humans. Santor laughed bitterly. Do you have any idea what your kind is capable of? Zar-El interrupted. Perhaps it's time they knew. Show them, Xantor. Show them why you fear them so much. For a moment, it seemed like Santor would refuse. Then, with a sigh, he activated a device on his wrist. A hologram sprang to life in the center of the chamber. The team watched in awe as images flashed before them. They saw humans, but not like any they'd known. These humans were moving objects with their minds, healing mortal wounds instantly, even flying through the air. This is what humans on Earth became, Xantor explained. They unlocked the full potential of their minds, tapped into the energy of the universe itself. Lime's eyes were wide. But that's amazing. Why would you want to stop this? Santor's face darkened. Keep watching. The images changed. Now they saw battles. Humans with godlike powers clashing, entire planets reduced to rubble in their wake. With great power came great conflict, Zar-El said softly. Some humans wanted to use their abilities to conquer, others to protect. The war that followed nearly destroyed the galaxy. Ava felt sick. What happened then? Zar-El gestured around them. The protectors won, but at a great cost. They realized that humanity wasn't ready for such power. So they transformed themselves and the Earth into what you see now. A living shield, guarding the heart of Earth from those who would misuse it. And we of the Empire have been keeping other humans away, Santor added, to prevent this from happening again. The chamber fell silent as the team tried to process this information. Their entire understanding of their history, of their very nature, had been turned upside down. Sarah was the first to speak. So what happens now? You'll just destroy us to keep your secret. Santor looked uncomfortable. That was the original plan. No, Zar-El stepped between them. They came seeking knowledge, not power. They've proven themselves worthy. Worthy of what? Jack asked. Zar-El turned to the team, its eyes glowing. Worthy of a choice. You can return to your colonies, keep this secret, and live your lives as you have been. Or what? Ava asked, though she felt she already knew the answer. Or you can stay here, learn to unlock your potential, and join us in protecting the heart of Earth. The team looked at each other, a mix of fear and excitement on their faces. This was more than they had ever dreamed of, more responsibility than they had ever imagined. Xantor stepped forward. Choose wisely. The fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy, rests on your decision. As Eva looked at her team, at Zar-El, at Santor, and at the swirling heart of Earth, she knew that whatever they decided, nothing would ever be the same again. The moment of choice had arrived, and with it, the future of humanity hung in the balance. The rebellion. The tension in the chamber was thick enough to cut with a knife. Ava Wong looked at her team, then back at Zar-El and Santor. The choice before them seemed impossible. Finally, Ava spoke. We need time to think about this. It's too big a decision to make right now. Xantor scowled. You don't have time. The longer you stay here, the more dangerous. He was cut off by a loud explosion from outside. The chamber shook, dust falling from the ceiling. What was that? Jack asked, looking around wildly. Zar-El's face was grim. It seems the decision has been made for us. The Empire's main fleet has arrived. Xantor looked shocked. Impossible. I gave no such order. Another explosion rocked the structure. Sarah readied her weapon. Order or not, they're here. What do we do? Zar-El turned to Ava. You and your team must leave. Now, take this. It handed her a small glowing orb. It contains the truth about Earth and humanity. Share it with your people. Ava clutched the orb, feeling its warm pulse. But what about you? And Earth? We will hold them off, Zar-El said. Go. As the team rushed towards their ship, Xantor called out, Wait. They turned, surprised. I was wrong about humans. Perhaps there is hope for your kind after all. Good luck. With a nod of thanks, the team boarded the Curiosity. Jack fired up the engines, and they shot into the sky. The scene above Earth was chaos. Massive Empire ships filled the space, firing at the planet's defenses. Strange, organic-looking craft rose from Earth to meet them, piloted by the evolved humans. How are we going to get through that? Lima asked, her eyes wide. Jack gritted his teeth. Hold on tight. This is going to be rough. The Curiosity dove and weaved through the battle, narrowly avoiding laser blasts and debris. But as they neared the edge of the combat zone, a tractor beam from one of the Empire ships caught them. We're stuck, Jack shouted, struggling with the controls. Suddenly, Malik gasped. The orb, it's glowing brighter. As they watched, the orb floated from Ava's hand. It pulsed once, twice, and then released a wave of energy. The tractor beam flickered and died. We're free, Jack yelled, pushing the ship to full speed. In moments, they had left the battle behind. But their journey was far from over. As they entered hyperspace, Ava knew they had a new mission: to spread the truth and rally humanity against the Empire. Weeks later, on New Terra, Governor Chen stared at Ava in disbelief. This is incredible, and you're sure this information is accurate? Ava nodded. We saw it with our own eyes, Governor. The Empire has been lying to us, keeping us from our true potential. The governor's face hardened. We need to tell people. All the colonies need to know. And so began the Great Rebellion. Using the advanced communication technology they'd brought back from Earth, Ava and her team broadcast their story to every human colony. At first, many didn't believe them. But as more and more people watched the recordings stored in the orb, saw the evidence of humanity's true history and potential, opinion began to shift. On some colonies, people took to the streets, demanding answers from their Empire-appointed officials. On others, scientists began secret research into unlocking human potential. The Empire, caught off guard by the sudden uprising, tried to maintain control. They jammed communications, increased their military presence, and spread propaganda claiming Ava and her team were terrorists. But it was too late. The spark of rebellion had been lit, and it was spreading like wildfire. Ava found herself at the center of it all, traveling from colony to colony, sharing her story and rallying support. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, betrayals, and moments of doubt. One night, exhausted after another close call with Empire forces, Ava confided in her team. Are we doing the right thing? Look at all the conflict we've caused. Malik put a hand on her shoulder. We're giving people the truth, Ava. What they do with it is up to them. Sarah nodded. And remember what we saw on Earth. If we don't stand up to the Empire now, we might never get another chance. As the rebellion grew, so did humanity's understanding of their hidden abilities. It started small, people moving objects with their minds, healing faster than normal. having visions of the future. The Empire grew desperate. They launched attacks on several colonies, thinking to crush the rebellion by force, but they had underestimated the human spirit. On New Terra, as Empire ships filled the sky, something incredible happened. Thousands of people joined hands, focused their minds, and created a shield of pure energy around the planet. The Empire's weapons couldn't penetrate it. Similar scenes played out across human space. Everyday people were becoming heroes, defending their homes with newfound powers. But the real turning point came when they received an unexpected message. It was from Earth. Zar-El's face appeared on screens across the colonies. "Children of humanity, you have remembered who you are. The time has come to reclaim your birthright. We of Earth stand with you. Together, we will forge a new future for all sentient beings in the galaxy." As cheers erupted across human space, Ava felt a mix of joy and apprehension. They had started something monumental, something that would change the course of history. The rebellion had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. But the real challenge, building a new, better society with their reclaimed powers, was just beginning. As she looked out at the celebrating crowds, Ava knew one thing for certain. Humanity's true journey was only just beginning. The new era. 5 years had passed since the Great Rebellion began. Ava Wong stood on a balcony overlooking the sprawling city of New Terra, marveling at how much had changed. The once simple skyline now boasted impossible structures, buildings that floated in the air, parks that shifted colors with the moods of the people, and transport tubes that bent space itself. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a voice said behind her. Ava turned to see Jack, his hair now streaked with gray, but his eyes still twinkling with adventure. "Sometimes I can hardly believe it's real," Ava admitted. Jack chuckled. "Well, you'd better start believing. The Earth delegation will be here any minute." As if on cue, a shimmering portal opened in the sky. A sleek ship emerged, its organic curves a stark contrast to the angular designs of old Earth vessels. It glided smoothly to a landing pad nearby. Ava took a deep breath. "Here we go." She and Jack made their way to the landing pad, joined by the rest of their old team. Malik, his fingers dancing with small sparks of energy. Lai Mei, her eyes glowing softly as she communicated silently with the city's AI. And Sarah, now the head of New Terra's peacekeeping force. The ship's door opened, and out stepped Zar-El, looking exactly as it had 5 years ago. Behind it came a group of humans, or rather, what humans had become on Earth. Their forms shifted subtly, as if they weren't quite solid, and their eyes held depths of wisdom that seemed impossible. "Welcome to New Terra," Ava said, stepping forward. "We're honored to host the first official meeting between Earth and the colonies." Zar-El smiled. "The honor is ours, Ava Wong. Your actions set in motion a new age for humanity." As they walked to the meeting hall, Ava couldn't help but reflect on the tumultuous years that had followed the rebellion. The war with the Empire had been brief but intense. With their awakened powers and the help of Earth, the human colonies had quickly gained the upper hand. But victory had brought its own challenges. Some humans, drunk on their new abilities, had wanted to establish dominance over other species. Others feared their powers and wished to suppress them. It had taken years of debate, conflict, and eventually understanding to forge a new path. Now, as they entered the grand meeting hall, Ava saw representatives from all the human colonies, as well as delegates from various alien species, including, surprisingly, some former members of the Empire. Governor Chen, now President of the United Colonies, called the meeting to order. "Today marks a historic moment," she began. "Not just for humanity, but for all sentient beings in the galaxy. We stand at the threshold of a new era of cooperation and understanding." Zar-El stepped forward. "For too long, fear and misunderstanding kept us apart. The Empire sought to suppress humanity's potential, believing it would lead to chaos. We of Earth hid ourselves away, thinking isolation was the answer. We were all wrong." A murmur ran through the crowd. Ava saw a mix of emotions on the faces around her: hope, apprehension, excitement. But now, Zar-El continued, we have a chance to build something new, a galactic community where all beings, regardless of their level of evolution or technological advancement, can coexist and thrive. President Chen nodded, which is why we've called this meeting. Today, we will begin drafting the Charter of Galactic Cooperation. What followed was hours of intense discussion. How would they ensure that advanced beings didn't dominate less evolved species? How could they promote the responsible use of powers? What structures needed to be in place to maintain peace? Eva found herself mediating between different factions, drawing on her experiences from the rebellion and the early days of awakening. It wasn't easy, but slowly progress was made. As the sun began to set, casting the meeting hall in a warm glow, President Chen called for a break. Ava stepped outside for some fresh air, feeling both exhausted and exhilarated. She found Malik standing alone, staring up at the stars. Heavy stuff in there, huh? She said, joining him. Malik nodded. You know, when we first set out to discover the truth about Earth, I never imagined it would lead to this. Ava laughed softly. None of us did. But here we are, shaping the future of the galaxy. Do you think we're ready for it? Malik asked, a hint of worry in his voice. Ava thought for a moment. I think we're ready to try, and that's what matters. Just then, Laime's voice echoed in their minds. You too might want to come back inside. Something big is happening. They rushed back to the meeting hall to find everyone gathered around a large holographic display. It showed a massive structure taking shape in space, a blend of technology from Earth, the colonies, and even some former Empire worlds. What is it? Ava asked, awe in her voice. Zar-El stepped forward, its eyes shining. This, Ava Wong, is the future we are building together. A galactic hub of learning, cooperation, and growth. A place where all beings can come to understand each other and reach their full potential. As Eva looked at the hologram, she felt a swell of emotion. This was more than just a new era for humanity. It was a new beginning for all sentient life in the galaxy. The path ahead would not be easy. There would be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But as she looked around at her friends, at the beings from across the galaxy all working together, Ava knew one thing for certain. The warning to stay away from Earth had led them here, to a future brighter than any of them could have imagined. And whatever came next, they would face it together. As the meeting resumed, Ava took her seat, ready to help shape the new dawn of galactic civilization. The true adventure, she realized, was only just beginning.